Hey guys, it's Erica Galinas with Century 21 affiliated in Cherville, Indiana, here for our weekly market update. This week we are going to be talking about Munster, and we're actually going to be covering 2 months, both the March and April numbers, so we can kind of catch up to May. So Munster has some kind of interesting similarities with Cherville that we're going to talk about, and then some comparisons like St. John's, so we'll get that at the end of the video, but there's some interesting things going on in Munster. So in terms of numbers, in March, in Munster, there were 27 units of real estate sold. Not a lot of new construction in Munster. We have all those Centennial townhomes, which, there's a ton of them. But 27 units sold for a total volume of $9.7 million, which gives us an average sales price of about $361,153. And about 19 days on the market, 98% list to sales price. So you list for $100,000, sell it for $98,000. That's your list to sales price, 98%. Compared to February, 24 units were sold in February, and again, as always, all kinds of real estate, for an average price of $425,000. So that is a jump in price from month to month of about $20,000, which is a good sign. Obviously, this market's all wonky, so some of these numbers, once we get like a big, pool of numbers over time, we'll get, more of an even number, but these ups and downs are kind of chunky. So in April in Munster, we sold 33 units of real estate for a total of $9.5 million, which means that our average average sales price dropped to $298,324. Days on market, 10 days. So moving, quite a bit faster, but we're down, based on paper, $70,000 in terms of sales prices in Munster. I will say this, do not panic. Munster has... Cherville's interesting because it has a lot of condos and stuff like that. Munster's interesting because it has both condos and it has $1 million homes. So I dug down a little bit. In March and February, there were a couple higher end homes that closed, which kind of skewed that average a little bit. I don't think we're in any trouble in the Munster market, even though we're showing a $70,000 drop. The condos in Centennial, they are selling, they're averaging between, actually a big swath, $297,000 to $549,000 for one of those condos. So that's like a big, $250,000 range between lowest and highest. And that's also kind of keeping things a little wonky. I will say this, what I saw of these sales numbers and why, A, I think Munster's market is moving much more quickly than, say, St. John, but B, one of the reasons why this seems to be a lower price is that in Munster, a lot of these sales were condo sales. We have some duplexes, some townhouses, but primarily condos, and not Centennial condos, but condos that were built in Munster in the 80s and 90s, pretty much when those big bulks like Martha Street and stuff like that. The prices on those condos, for those condos, is excellent, actually, based on what was going on 3 or 4 years ago. But looking at the Northwest Indiana market, those kinds of condos, those sales prices are kind of the only game in town. And when I say that's our similarity with Cherville right now, it is because Cherville also has a lot of condos that are listed for less than, $250,000 or something like that. So dropping $70,000 over a month doesn't mean there's anything wrong in the Munster market. It means that, there is affordable housing in Munster. Again, affordable, obviously, is a value judgment. But people who may be, looking to move out of the city, maybe into the state, can't find anything for less than, $500,000. So they're going to buy these condos. They're going to, stay in them for 5 or 6 years or whatever it is. And then they're going to sell them when the market calms down. So it may seem not great that the Munster prices don't seem as competitive as, say, St. John, but it's actually a good thing because our market, 10 days on market, in St. John, we're seeing those number approach, we're back to 30 and 40 days in some cases. So activity is kind of always better than high prices because what we're keeping an eye on in St. John, where their listing prices for existing homes are at this point over $600,000, it's starting to slow down in St. John because, as I said in my St. John videos, people are looking in Cherville, they're looking in Crown Point, maybe they're looking in Lowell, maybe they're looking in Munster, where the average price is just more affordable, for a regular, middle-class person. So we will continue to keep an eye on that, both in, St. John in terms of stalling in the market, and then Munster in terms of still having, a good hot market because these prices, not even that, because there's properties that are, you know, dissimilar enough in terms of size, in terms of age or whatever, that they are going for lower, more affordable prices. In terms of pending listings in Munster, so these are ones that have sold to a buyer, haven't closed yet because they're either, you know, building the condo or they need title work, whatever it is. 60 pending listings right now in Munster. Average days on market, 22 days. There was one that was on the market. No, that's actually under actives. So yeah, 22 days, which also includes the Centennial properties, which, you know, kind of hang on the market longer because they're selling different units necessarily than what they have listed. Average list price, $378,000. So again, we won't know what those close for until they actually close, but obviously, I mean, that's almost $100,000 difference. Based on these pending listing prices, I don't think that this $70,000 drop is anything to worry about. New construction, 10 of them, all Centennial condos, which means there's 50 pending existing homes, condos, townhouses, duplexes, which again, you know, Munster is doing really well because they're keeping that activity. I will say in terms of active listings, there are 42 active listings in Munster right now. And again, that's condos to mansions. There are 15 of those 42 are new construction, again, predominantly those Centennial condos, which means there's 27 existing homes in Munster right now, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it's more than there is in Cherville. So, you know, we'll see what happens as the spring market hopefully is finally here. It's a beautiful day outside. We'll see if these listings are going to continue or if we're going to keep getting this inventory crunch in our area over the next couple weeks, maybe 30 days, something like that. For the active listings, the average list price for those listings is $483,000, which, you know, again, there's some in Munster, there is a lot of over like $500,000 homes. You know, you got a different spots with, you know, what would that be, west of Calumet, and you have a little bit of Briar Ridge, and you have, you know, different ones. So that obviously pulls that up. Average days on market is 26 days. There is a house that's listed for, I don't know, it's like $1 million. It's been on the market 800 plus days. So we threw that one out because obviously that's an outlier. But we're left with an average days on market of 26 days. And this is what I talk about in St. John. This is what I'm keeping an eye on in all of the areas I cover. As that days on market lengthens out on the closed transactions, that's going to mean to everybody that the prices for these houses, this $483,000 or whatever it is at the time, that's too expensive for people now. They either decided not to buy, they're going to stay home wherever it is, or they're looking in other areas. So Munster doesn't seem to be falling to that as much as, like, say, St. John is, parts of Winfield. But, you know, we'll keep an eye on it. That's the only thing we can do. Once we see that start happening, that's, you know, that stagnating market, then I believe that we're going to see some of the prices, you know, start kind of regulating. Every seller wants $1 million for their house, but if buyers aren't going to pay for it, then you might as well drop the price if you want to move. But we'll keep an eye on that. I will say there are 4 properties in actually condos and townhouses in Munster that are not Centennial, so we'll keep an eye on those. They're listed at, you know, decent value. We'll see how quickly those sell. But that's really kind of what we have going on in Munster, just this idea that there is enough affordable housing with these condos like there is in Cherville that's keeping the Munster market moving at that, you know, average 10 days on market kind of thing, as opposed to a St. John, which has beautiful homes, but averaging over $500,000, you know, things are starting to slow down there. So we'll see if that, you know, St. John drops a little bit, or if it starts to happen in Munster, or whatever it is. I'll let you know. Thanks for watching. Next week we are talking about Dyer, Indiana. So kind of some interesting stuff there. Their housing stock's a little newer than the stuff in Munster and a little less custom. There's a lot of custom homes in Munster, but it's right on the state line and it has a bigger footprint. So we'll see what's going on in Dyer next week. Please tune in for that. If you live in Munster, you know somebody wants to move to Munster, you have a friend who's living in Munster, maybe thinking of moving in or out, you know, please share this video with those friends. Please subscribe to the channel. Like I said, I do these market updates every week, and your town, if you're in Dyer, is next week. Call me, text me anytime, even if you just have a question about anything in any town, 219-765-2062. And if you're more comfortable, you can always email me at hsbyerica@gmail.com. Stands for Home Sales by Erica. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you next week. Hey guys, I'm glad you're enjoying my videos. If you have any questions about buying or selling, but I'm not in your area, I have connections to an international network of realtors who would be happy to help. Give me a call, text me anytime, 219-765-2062. I'll be happy to give you the name of a realtor in your area. Thanks.